Good morning everyone, this is Michael from Headfonia and today we will talk about the Phonon headphones which at the moment is actually they have two different models, the standard model, the SMB-02 and the smaller model which is supposed to be a DJ monitoring headphones, which is the Phonon 4000. Today I'm just going to talk about the SMB-02, which is a standard issue monitoring headphones in plain black color, plastic build, non-detachable cable. Is a very long cable, standard monitoring issue. And you know, if you just look at it and put it on your head, there is nothing special, it seems, about this Phonon except for the price tag, which is roughly about $300 US. The price tag is not an easy one because at $300 clearly you can get other monitoring headphones at maybe even half the price, $150. Not unreasonable at all. Some of the cheaper Audio-Technica monitoring headphones, you can get them as cheap as about $70. So it makes the Phonon seem quite a bit steep. And that was indeed my initial reaction when I was considering the Phonon headphones, because I thought that, you know, it's not a premium $1,000, $2,000 headphones, which usually they come with the build quality to justify the price. But on the other hand, the Phonon is just a plain black headphone. It doesn't look expensive at all, and yet the $300 price tag makes it quite pricey for something with this kind of look and build quality. Yeah, I talked to a lot of people about this, and you know, to my surprise, they didn't really have a problem with the plastic build. You know, it's quite solid. It's not the type of plastic that would break easily. Isao-san definitely have durability in mind when he designed this. He wants something simple, something that worked for many years. The housing is just what it is, you know, nothing fancy but durable enough. So what happens next was that I went to Japan. I put on my schedule was that I made an appointment to meet with the Phonon guys. At that time I met with Isao-san, which is the mastering engineer and the guy who actually tuned these headphones, the Phonon headphones. You know, he spoke a decent English, and we started talking, and before we knew it, it was a 2 hours talk, and you know, later we had dinner together, and you know, we talked about a lot of things. And you know, it was back then when I first auditioned the Phonon SMB-02, and I was really amazed by the sound. Obviously, it was nothing like I've ever listened to before, and I've listened to many headphones. But there was something about these Phonons that's just, you know, at that time I smiled, and you know, I might have laughed a little bit because it was just so magical. And I told Isao, this is really special, and I really meant it. And it's like there was, you know, I've never heard anything like the Phonon, like the SMB-02. It was crazy. And I've listened, you know, to all the famous monitoring headphones. You know, the most famous in Japan being the Sony CD900, which I have a copy. You know, and I've listened to all of the other monitoring headphones that, you know, you name it. And you know, I have a copy of just about all the really famous monitoring headphones. But the Phonon totally blew them away. It was not even funny. It was really special, and you know, I cannot just stress that enough. It was the cleanest sound I've ever heard out of headphone. Maybe swear that it doesn't have any distortion at all in the sound. Well, maybe there's no such thing as a perfectly 100% free distortion sound, but the SMB-02 sounded like it had no distortion at all. It was just pure, clean, smooth, perfect sound. I suppose you probably have to have an ear that is trained to really appreciate all the fullest subtle quality of the Phonon, because in a way it was not a mind-blowing, impressive flagship sound. You know, when you put on the big flagship headphones about the size of this big, you know, like the HG800, the Odyssey headphones, the HiFi Man planar headphones, I mean, they most of them have a huge soundstage that when you put them on the first time, the huge soundstage just blows you away. The Phonon, it didn't really have that. The soundstage is just moderate. It's not humongous. It's not, it doesn't wow you like that. But unlike the other flagship headphones, which may cost $1,000-$2,000, they're good for certain music, but they're not so good with other type of music. They're good with really good recordings, with high quality audiophile recordings, but not so good when you start listening to pop and all the mainstream recording stuff. So in a way, a lot of them also tend to have problems in treble. They would oftentimes have treble peaks here and there. So the Phonon is different in that sense. It does not sound like a flagship headphone. It doesn't give you that $1,000-$2,000 flagship headphone sound, which is that grand wow factor sound. But the Phonon takes the approach to a totally different direction. It gives you a clean sound, undistorted. You listen to it and you find that there is nothing, you can't pick a fault with the sound. It's very relaxing. It's quite laid back. It's moderately dark, so you can listen to it for a long time without getting tired. It works well with many different types of recordings. You don't really have to always put flawless boutique recordings to enjoy the Phonon. The tuning is executed so perfectly that I can't stress it enough, but the SMB-02 is unlike anything else in the market. Anything else. You name it, it's totally unique. So we've been selling this in the Indonesian store for a few months, maybe a year now. Just about everybody I ask about the Phonon, and they tell me that it's a really special sound, and everybody seems to share the same opinion about the sound. Is really special, clean, clear, no distortion. But they have one problem with it, and that is the price tag. Coming back to the $300 price tag, which for them, these are the guys who usually spend about $100, $150 on a typical Audio-Technica or Sony monitoring headphone, and now they have gotta come up with $300, and that's probably one of the biggest thing that they have to think about when buying the Phonon. And in terms of the build quality, the simple plastic, no luxury, no fancy material build quality, I think people appreciate that look. Maybe not everybody, but the majority of people I talk to about this, they actually like the fact that the Phonon doesn't try to pretend to be another Beats looking design, or trying to be another fancy leather housing headphone or wood housing headphone that doesn't really have the sound to back it up. But they appreciate the fact that it looks like a sleeper. You wear it on the street and nobody really knows what it is except for people who really know headphones. It comes with a solid sound quality to back it up. So yes, the $300 price tag, it always comes down to that. Because we're not talking about the crowd of people who easily spends $1,000, $2,000 on a headphone. That's a different crowd. This is the crowd of people who usually, I think, they're spending $100 to $200 on a pair of headphones, and now they're being asked to pay $300. So now we have this in the Singapore store, in Headfonia store Singapore. We have demo units for it. One thing I can say about the pads is that we recommend upgrading the pads to the Yaxi pads, which is a much higher quality, more comfortable, but actually also improves the sound even further. It boosts the soundstage. It gives you a more spacious sound. It gives you better definition in the bass. So give it a try and see if you think it's really worth the price tag that Phonon is asking for these headphones. Thank you. I'm Michael from headfoniastore.sg.